Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
Before his untimely demise in April 2016, Prince was allegedly obtaining information that had the potential to destroy Jay-Z and Beyoncé's refined business. According to insiders, the very materials that were previously believed to be hidden are suddenly leaking once more. The whispers claim that the Carters thought they had silenced every copy, drive, and hard drive, despite what they characterize as desperate attempts to purchase and remove every trace. However, they are scrambling because it appears like something is resurfacing. If the leaks are authentic, the question is no longer whether Prince was investigating their secrets, but rather who is currently in possession of his evidence and why it is resurfacing at the same moment Diddy's world is crashing in court. Although Prince's death was officially declared accidental, the ensuing commotion made it difficult to distinguish between treachery and business. The timing was extremely erratic. Just a few months prior, he had put rare recordings on Jay-Z's streaming service Tidal because he believed the rapper would uphold artists' rights. That union seemed to be a sign of mutual respect in real life. It became a legal battle after his death. The singer's estate accused Tidal and Roc Nation of backdating documents and claiming rights to hundreds of songs that were never authorized after he left no will. According to those court-filed charges, Jay-Z's corporation scrambled to keep Prince's whole vault as if it were already theirs.
Jay-Z's day ones, like one of the original Circle crew members, brothers.
30 years.
30 years. How'd y'all first connect?
Streets, man. It was a connection through.
Jay-Z transformed the argument into music by 2017. The song that drew their attention on his album 444 accused Prince's estate advisors of selling out. Prince and I sat down and looked at each other. Before he died, he informed me what he wanted and drew a boundary between himself and the estate attorneys. In addition to being personal, the comment accomplished something else. It solidified the rivalry in the public consciousness. Attorneys retorted that Tidal's contract was a fabrication, allegedly outdated documents. According to the estate, Jay-Z's team's claims were not supported by correspondence with Prince's representatives. It appeared to be a manipulation of the estate. It was a slander to Jay-Z. In any case, it brought up the same query that continues to plague this tale. What was actually in Prince's vault that caused millionaires to fight like this?
Jay?
Yeah.
At this point? Nah, I would want, why?
Reports that Jay-Z had flown Prince's sister Ty to New York emerged shortly after the litigation started. According to those with knowledge of the negotiations, he made an offer of almost $40 million to purchase the late artist's entire catalog. The industry was taken aback by the price, not because it was costly, but rather because it looked low for control over decades of unpublished work. What more was in that vault, analysts wondered? What type of materials could make an offer of even $40 million seem like a good deal? According to several insiders, Prince collected personal records, notes about executives, rival musicians, and their off-record transactions in addition to music. They claim that Jay-Z and Beyoncé were among those names. The rumor matches a pattern, but none of it has been confirmed. Everyone who attempted to manage Prince's legacy ultimately got into arguments about things other than music.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Although Jay-Z's supporters claim it's just business, the timeline presents a different image of a person whose entire career reflects the same brutal energy he once sung about. The document is available to the public. After stabbing producer Lance Rivera during a dispute over the distribution of a bootleg record in 1999, he entered a guilty plea and was granted probation. When a loaded weapon was discovered in his entourage's vehicle outside a Manhattan bar 2 years later, he was taken into custody. Jay-Z was set free when his security took the initiative. Prior to that, he acknowledged in interviews that he had earned his first money by selling drugs on Brooklyn corners, claiming that the streets had taught him all there was to know about risk and profit. He has been redefining that history as mythology for years, but the violence has never truly gone away. It recently shifted to corporate takeovers and contracts. Jay-Z transformed from musician to businessman by the middle of the 2010s, presenting himself and his equally untouchable wife as a clean-cut visionary. Power and stain-free meanings were key components of their trademark. That's precisely why the Prince struggle was important. In the chaos that followed a superstar's death, it threatened to reveal an unguarded side of him as a businessman accused of fabricating documents, controlling bereaved family members, and stealing creative property. Tidal streamed over 15 albums of Prince's music after his death, according to court documents, even pieces that the artist had never given their consent to be published online. In the hopes that no one would oppose him, the estate accused Jay-Z's company of taking advantage of that opening. It became ugly in court. Lawyers referred to the withholding of emails as a common interest doctrine, a technical defense that raised suspicions among investigators. It started to appear to onlookers more like a botched power play than a misunderstanding.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
Another storm gathered as all of that was happening. The same man who used to invite Jay-Z and Beyoncé to his opulent white parties, Sean "Diddy" Combs, was accused of operating a criminal enterprise under the guise of luxury. According to the federal accusations, those parties concealed coercive networks that recorded, archived, and occasionally utilized intimate encounters as leverage. It has been reported by former guests and publicists that Diddy had video records of his alleged freak-off parties. The prosecution characterized them as intricate acts staged by staff members and captured on camera for management purposes. Given that other lawsuits state that the Carters attended those circles before severing ties, the notion that someone like Prince, who mistrusted every industry middleman, might have gathered proof regarding such behavior no longer seems implausible.
But Diddy parties and Diddy After Dark are two different things. I want to go on record of saying I never saw Jay-Z at a Diddy After Dark party. Then again, I wasn't there, so I don't know who was there. But I know that I saw Jay-Z at the Diddy party.
Jay-Z's name has been mentioned in several documents about Diddy, including a recent civil action in which both parties were charged with wrongdoing at a party in the early 2000s. He wrote it off as blackmail, but it's hard to deny the trend. His attorneys released statements, denied any involvement, and cited public alibis once more. However, suspicion is being stoked in gossip circles by the coincidence between Diddy's demise and the reappearance of purported Prince files. It's a remarkable coincidence if the two tales have nothing to do with one another. The Carter team is reportedly keeping an eye on every new leak site that involves Prince's name, which might be explained if they are connected. Prince's vault has long been legendary. Entire rooms at Paisley Park are reportedly filled with rows of cassettes, videos, handwritten letters, and unpublished collaborations. However, not all of the items in that vault were musical, according to those who worked on the estate's cataloging endeavor. Some talked about computer disks with unidentified contents, while others talked about sealed envelopes. A trade publication was informed by a former advisor that some materials were sensitive and not intended for commercial release. These materials purportedly changed hands several times after the general agreement for the vault disintegrated due to legal confusion. Files might have disappeared somewhere along that chain. That's where the current rumor originates. a group of digital archives that were purportedly stolen during the initial audits has reappeared. According to the rumors, those files include information that connects corporate empires, confidential recordings, and private influence throughout the same network that is currently being sued.
Pretty much said like Jay doesn't really want awards. Well, he go to the Grammys.
Right.
He you know, come into the black-owned spaces. Let's figure out how to work together so that way we have the relationship when it matters, not when it's convenient for you and your image. Because they all call us when the story...
The ramifications are immense if that is the case. It would imply that what started out as a disagreement over music streaming has turned into a struggle for control over alliances, reputations, and possibly proof of actions that go well beyond entertainment. According to insiders, the Carters have discreetly contacted a number of Prince's old colleagues, offering non-disclosure agreements and consulting services. Some claim they're just defending their reputation. In any case, they are anxious about something. Another rumor concerning encrypted drives, documents mentioning Diddy, Roc Nation, and private detectives from Prince's circle appear every week. Too many people are talking about it for it to go away, even though none of it has been proven. The line gets obvious the closer we look. From the Minneapolis vault to the New York lawsuits to the federal indictments in Los Angeles, a tiny number of insiders allegedly discovered anything odd when the estate eventually completed its initial inventory. The final report did not include a few catalog numbers that were reported on previous manifests. They weren't melodies, they were just identified as miscellaneous media. They claimed that's what everyone is currently searching for. The musical files that are not melodies. They could be the reason why influential people are now acting as though they have never met Prince.
I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
The accusations in court documents read like the plot of a bizarre film as prosecutors delve further into Sean Diddy Combs' enterprise. Investigators describe a well-organized structure behind those infamous freak-off events, including assistants setting up transportation, private jets reserved under false identities, and whole hotel floors hired out for nights that combined intimidation and fun. Cash, medical supplies, and performance enhancers are all mentioned in the indictments. Receipts, computer records, and what they refer to as multimedia recordings that were found during raids in Miami and Los Angeles are among the evidence. One of the tabloid jokes was that 1,000 bottles of lubricant had been found during searches. Prosecutors, however, maintain that they are evidence of methodology. They claim that everything was cataloged, recorded, and occasionally utilized as leverage. Combs maintains that these tales will fall apart in court and rejects any criminal activity. However, the sector is shivering as a result of the pattern that has been revealed.
And then you have celebrities like a Jay-Z. And this is where I think the whole fallout with the Beyoncé, she's just kind of in the crosshairs because of all of what's going on in the media with respect to Jay-Z and stuff. But with Jay, you know, when he complained at the Grammys about the Grammys not giving Beyoncé Artist of the Year, when she's the most decorated Grammy-winning artist ever, we invited him to be honored at our award show.
More names become entangled in the case as it progresses. Jay-Z and Beyoncé were named as witnesses who may have attended an event held by Diddy years ago in a civil lawsuit that briefly made headlines. In a matter of days, all references to them were removed in a revised version of the same document. Jay-Z's lawyer immediately came forth and claimed that the rapper wasn't even in Florida at the time, citing public performances in New York as evidence. The peculiar chemistry around the Carters was caught in that moment. Their names appear, then disappear, to be replaced by tighter legal barriers and quiet. It's the fastest cleanup equipment in the industry, according to insiders. Some see it as proof of innocence. For others, it's the appearance of terror when a story is too personal. Insiders are now speculating that the most recent leaks, which are fueling rumors about the Carters, originate from materials Prince personally assembled rather than the courts. They claim that the documents were a part of a private investigation the singer was working on before his death, with an emphasis on industry exploitation and covert transactions involving prominent individuals. Prince's vault contained more than simply unreleased music when he died. The box was black. Copies of that archive are said to have been created and kept outside of Paisley Park. We've been informed that the current breaches may include emails, notes, video clips, or perhaps pieces of that backup. If this is the case, it would explain why wealthy individuals are suddenly attempting to purchase silence in untraceable locations.
And sometimes you respond to something that brings way more attention to it, too.
That too, and it's just, it goes into another space, and then you just like, oh, y'all not listening to me.
But then you'll have somebody else that'll say to you.
Jay-Z's transformation of his image following Prince's death serves as an example of image control. He was portrayed in his 444 album as a wise man who preached emotional honesty, integrity, and ownership. However, during those same years, his businesses were charged with falsifying agreements and altering contracts with Prince's estate. According to Tidal Records, Tidal allegedly backdated an equity term sheet in order to justify streaming over 500 songs. Prosecutors claimed that emails from the time period did not fit the purported agreement. It was in stark contrast to Jay-Z's recorded claim that he was carrying out Prince's desires. It sounded noble to fans. It appeared to be a cover to solicitors. Prince had been fighting corporate power for decades, protesting record executives by writing "slave" on his own face. Meanwhile, Jay-Z had made corporate control his religion. Philosophy had nothing to do with the conflict between a mogul establishing a monopoly and an artist defending freedom. Power and who gets to define legacy were at issue. We cannot deny that this tension is a reflection of the greater storm that surrounds Diddy. Both guys used charm and connections to build empires. Scenes that were governed by both now appear radioactive. Investigators are charting connections that span decades of hip-hop's upper elite as they follow Diddy's financial transactions. Long before there were any raids, a number of insiders reported that recordings from those opulent events were used as blackmail material. To keep clips hidden, people exchanged favors. Prince reportedly alerted confidants that artists were being owned in novel ways because he was always wary of networks based on leverage. The message seems prophetic, whether he meant actual tapes or symbolic contracts.
Greed? The money?
Yeah.
Or the power, one of the two.
I mean, it looks more like power.
It's this spell, right?
Right.
That Jay got. That's why I kind of look at Kanye and Dame and all them. They the old me.
Right.
They the YouTube me.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That this Dame look like the old YouTube me to me, because he hurt, bro.
Now, the pieces begin to fit together when we consider how fiercely the Carters defend their reputation. A prominent talk show presenter publicly apologized earlier this year after airing an interview in which a former colleague made unsettling allegations regarding Jay-Z and Beyoncé's purported connections to Diddy. Their attorneys contacted the program a few days later, demanding that those pieces be removed and denouncing the allegations as unfounded. In order to comply, the host edited the video and released a statement regarding legal restrictions. Such a retraction is uncommon in contemporary media, and it demonstrates how fast Carter's crew can put out sparks before they catch fire. Producers and journalists claim that behind closed doors, they have been advised not to report on anything that links the couple to Diddy's developing issue. The mystery of what's being concealed grows with each edit and removed post. In the meantime, Prince's vault-related leaks are becoming more widespread on the internet. Anonymous accounts assert that they hold encrypted files containing financial details, footage of high-profile events, and communications between well-known individuals. Snippets appear and disappear almost as fast as they appear, but none of it has been verified. According to what we've been told, efforts to track down those data have led to individuals who were employed by Prince's estate in the turbulent first year following his death. Before the new administrators took over, some of them allegedly stole data. Some were discreetly rehired by big music labels associated with Roc Nation. If the links are genuine, it indicates that some of the vault's contents were scattered long before solicitors could secure it.
Team Puffy Independent. All the people that got hated on in the game, look where they ended up. So I can see my future. I can see what's going on here. This independency is gonna be big. I'm gonna have my own. But this ain't to just target him. I just book about my life, a movie about my life. Why?
The plot becomes risky at that point. According to reports, the same federal teams looking into Diddy's purported network are examining correspondence from a number of celebrities who had financial or social interactions with him. Despite not being named targets or defendants, the Carters are frequently brought up in rumors because to their close proximity. Some seasoned professionals in the field maintain that Prince's documentation shows how far musicians will go to safeguard their businesses, rather than any illegal action at all. Some murmur that it's a more serious issue: evidence of agreements reached to maintain silence, favors given to conceal compromising content, and influential middlemen who serve as cleaners when reports endanger billion-dollar corporations. Jay-Z once presented himself as the heir to Prince's struggle for independence, which is an odd irony. However, what we've learned about the vault dispute portrays him as the exact opposite: a magnate who seeks to own every master, every story, and every trace of ancestry. The same pattern can be seen in Beyoncé's meticulously constructed image of perfection. The couple's kingdom depends on discipline and purity. Therefore, even a slight connection to controversy puts the foundation in jeopardy. Their legal response was prompt and unwavering when their names appeared in the Diddy papers. The story only got louder after those illusions vanished. Every denial causes people to question what it is that they are trying so hard to suppress.
So, as we look at Jay-Z's life, he's a billionaire, married to Beyonce. Do you feel like he's truly reaped the karma of all his actions?
Where the karma is at?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, well.
Or do you feel like he ever will?
I feel like if you done people wrong, you know you done people wrong.
Prince's shadow is a recurring theme in all of these topics. He cautioned that ownership of art equated to ownership of identity and mistrusted corporate partnerships. The current disclosures have the potential to completely alter our perception of the celebrity power structure if they actually came from his secret archive. Imagine if the records reveal that certain individuals were kept untouchable for decades because of TA blackmail rather than skill. What if the same couple who created an empire by advocating for empowerment were also involved in a system intended to silence others? The unexpected intensity of silence from those who typically control every headline is explained by this notion, but it is unproven. All that remains is a terrifying symmetry. Jay-Z's ownership disputes, Diddy's federal trial, and an unseen data trail that allegedly links them to an artist who recognized the peril of ceding power to the mighty. We observe greater anxious energy the longer the data flowed around. Behind the scenes, there are statements, denials, and frantic phone calls. If these records are available, they could chart the covert economy that supports contemporary celebrity. We might discover that the tale isn't about Diddy's demise at all if the next leak reveals more names. It concerns the reckoning of an entire generation. Because the Carters aren't merely battling rumors if Prince's papers actually reveal how influence, silence, and money are interwoven. They are battling the legacy of a man who recorded everything. Who now possesses those files, then, is the question. When the next leak occurs, what will happen? Please share your thoughts with us below. Until then, remember that every secret ultimately performs its encore. Keep your eyes open and maintain your curiosity.